Hello lovely Flosstube friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lauren, also known as Cross Stitch Bunny, here on YouTube and over on Instagram. Today is the 1st of August and this is my final roundup of July. So what did I get up to stitchy wise in July? I'm heavily referring to my notes today because I'm hoping to do this really speedily. I really wanted to film and make sure I stay on track with my updates, but at the same time I am melting. I am so hot. We've been outside most of the day. My hair is crazy and fluffy because I've been on a log flume 3 or 4 times, getting wet and drying off and getting wet and drying off. And yes, I think I just need to take all my clothes off and go lie down on my bed with a fan pointing at me. I just feel like I'm absolutely, I'm just too hot. I'm too hot. But anyway, on with the stitching. Let's refer to the notes. Where are we at for July? So last time I saw you in July, I had 2 Jolly July new starts and I finished them. They were starts and finishes. So my starting point for the middle of the month was that I was sort of on track with an even number of starts and finishes, and then I have had 1 new start since I last saw you, and I haven't finished that one, but I have finished another. So overall I started the month on 27 whips and I am finishing on 27 whips. 3 starts overall, 3 finishes overall, and I've got 1 start to show you today, 1 finish to show you today, and 3 other whips. So we are going to try and speed through these 5 projects, and then I have a single piece of haul, and that is it. So project number 1, before I start picking things up actually, I will show you my finish first. Now I don't have it here to actually hold up for you, but I will pop it on the screen. I finally finished my rainbow bridge piece, so this was sort of my secret stitch. It is a design by Ursula under the Imaginating brand, and I've not been really showing this one on my Flosstube. I was kind of keeping it a secret, and then I did share it in my last one, but with a disclaimer that my mother should stop watching. And it was ever so funny because a couple of hours after I put out the video, my mum texted me and was like, "Oh, I've just had to switch your Flosstube off." She was like, I listened to your instructions, and she switched it off so as not to spoil her own surprise, but I now have gifted this piece to my mum. So what you should be seeing on the screen, if I have been able to locate the video and I've not done something silly like delete it or lose it, this is the little video I took before I gifted this, and it's not only a finish but actually an FFO. I couldn't just give it to my mum as a piece of fabric, so I have framed it in this lovely sort of red square hoop, which is a Nerge frame, like a Nerge flexible hoop frame in the square shape. Got an inbuilt little hanger, and my mum absolutely loves it, which I'm really pleased about. I'm so happy that they liked it. My mum and dad were actually on holiday when I posted it, and they arrived home to it in their like safekeeping box that they leave out for the postman. And my mum messaged me and said I made her cry within 5 minutes of her coming into the house. So that's not too good, but at the same time, obviously it demonstrates how much she really loved it, and apparently my dad really loved it too. I did the design as it was intended to be stitched, but then I added the names of every single dog that my mum and dad have had that's passed over the Rainbow Bridge. So there are Buster, Heidi, Henry, Rue, George and Zena, who are their 6 boxer dogs, and then Betty and Barney, their 2 French bulldogs, and I've put all their names on there on the rainbow. Really, really happy with how this turned out. I'm not the most confident finisher, but I did want to make sure the back didn't look too messy, so on the reverse I did go ahead and just stitch a piece of felt onto it with like a basic and somewhat uneven blanket stitch, but the back is covered so that it doesn't look all messy, and my mum has actually hung it up. So here it is on her wall, and it's hung under her like bronze portrait sculpture of a boxer dog's head. Very appropriate place for it in the house. So that is my finish / FFO, and you know what that means. I have crossed off one of my FFO goals for Whip Go. As it stood, when I saw you in the middle of July, I had finished all of my stitching related goals for Whip Go, but I was lagging behind on fully finishing things because that is not my thing. As you will know, if you watch me frequently, I'm not a confident finisher, and I was carrying the goals of 2 FFOs. One of those FFO goals was actually called for the month of July, and one was being carried from a previous month. I now have a single FFO under my belt, which is this one, so I'm only carrying one Whip Go goal forward, which is one more FFO. I've not even looked up my Whip Go goals for August, so I have no idea what they are, so I cannot tell you. But in my next episode, I will let you know what those goals are for this month and how I'm getting on with them. Stitching. So, stitching that I actually have here to show you. Let's start with the new start. I had finished both of my Jolly July new starts. They were starts and finishers. I was very pleased with myself, and I thought I would try and sneak in one last Jolly July start and finish, but I did not quite make it to a finish, but never mind. So the one I picked is from the Warmest Winter Wishes book from the Across Stitch Christmas series. I did look at this with you briefly in my last episode, and the design that I decided to pick, one of the ones that I had already sorted all the threads for, is the Emma Congdon Santa Claus piece of the Little Tiny Crab. So that is what I decided I was going to go ahead and stitch, and I am so very close, but he is just not quite a finish. I think that if I had been stitching him on a different count fabric, or doing him at 2 over 2, then he may have actually been finished. Sorry, I'm flicking for my notes because I'm trying to tell you what fabric he's on. I think if I'd stitched him on like either an Ada, or I was doing him 2 over 2, it would have been much quicker, but here we are. I opted to do him on 25 count. So I'm stitching him on 25 count beige splash from Zweigart, and this is where we're at. So he's been done on 25 count, 2 over 1, so two threads over 1. He is very super tiny, but that is what I wanted. I was hoping that he would be small enough to sort of be ornament sized or small Christmas decoration sized. I am really, really pleased with him. I like that he's got his little eyes in there. I've done his face. That is like the only back stitch on the entire pattern. I've done his candy cane here. There's a little present here. I think that one's finished. Maybe it has a bow on the top. I'm not sure, but if so, it is almost finished. I've got this present that I'm working on up here. He is missing a few legs, and then I just need to do the text at the bottom that will say Santa Claus. So yes, very pleased with this. I am using Royal Broidery threads from that box of threads I showed you last episode, where I had just put all the threads for all the projects that I had earmarked from this book. I'd put all the threads in one box to make it super easy that I could just pick up the box, and I know that every pattern I have bookmarked in this book has all the threads in there ready to go. It would have been nice to have him as a Jolly July finish, but I am not waiting until Christmas to finish him. Despite the fact that he is like a Christmassy crab, he's still a crab, he's still very summery. We are in summer, he's like from the no snow section of that book, which completely makes sense. And I still feel like I can stitch on him despite the fact Jolly July is over. I'm going to plough on, and this will be a finish, hopefully in August. I would like to get him ticked off because he's only very, very small. Speaking of small projects, I have also done a little bit of work on my Mill Hill stitching little bird. I used to have this as a travel stitch. It's now just an anytime stitch. This is the design. It is a buttons and beads kit, so it comes with everything. It is stitched on the perforated paper, 14 count equivalent. Oh, this is where I was. Sorry, I forgot about that bit. This is where I was last time you saw it. And this is where I am now. So the progress that I have made since you last saw it is basically all down here. It is just all of that green at the bottom. I have stitched this line and then I started on this grey, just put a single thread of grey in there, and that is about it. But that was an hour. That was 1 hour of stitching to get all the green along the bottom and start doing that little bit of grey. I've not done any work on the bird or any work up top. All the threads I'm using in this are the ones that come with the kit. I will be using the beads from the kit. It's a kit, so yes, everything that I needed to do it has been supplied, and I think there is a cute little button, like a shaped button, maybe a butterfly or a dragonfly, and that will go somewhere up in the cloud, I think, once I get to that part. And I'm not too far away from a finish on that one, so that is a small stitch. I think that I can get my crab and my bird done this month in August if I pick them up and work on those first, but it depends what my whip go goals are. That may determine whether I actually work on them and just get them finished, or if I have some really big goals called for whip go, they might have to get shelved until the following month. We will see. Other things I have worked on, 2 more things left to show you. The first is my Whimsical alphabet. You have seen this many times. This is a long-term project that I have been chipping away at, but it has been going away into the pile for long periods of time. I've dragged it back out. This is where it was last time you saw it, and I'm pretty sure this will be a photograph I'm inserting from my last whip parade at the beginning of 2024, the beginning of 2024. I don't think I have worked on it this year up until I've just pulled it out again this month. So I am stitching it on a very, very sparkly silver Ada, which I believe is 16 count. And I just really need to go in close for you to get a full appreciation of the back stitch on this. I know you've seen all these letters before up the top, but you have not seen them for a while. So yeah, that's like the top row, and then Fabulous I had already done last time you saw it, but I had not finished my G for Grace. It had been partially stitched, and then I have started to work on Happiness. I think it's H for Happiness. You will have seen the pattern, so you can confirm that by checking the picture that I've just shown you. I'm pretty sure it's Happiness. But yes, this is where we are at. I absolutely adore this project. It is just so detailed and so lovely. The designer is Maria Demina, whose sort of shop name is Little Room in the Attic. I adore many of her designs and have quite a collection in my PDF pattern stash. She has a very distinctive and specific style, and yes, it's definitely up my street. I love pretty much all of her designs. I am stitching this, I believe, all with DMC. I am, so referring to the notes, stitching this all with DMC and the cord 4 Krynic. And yeah, lovely. So that is that whip. One left to show you. I feel like I have been speedy today, and it is a good job because I really am melting. I hope that everyone else is surviving the current heat wave. If you are in the UK, it has been so hot here. I think it was 28 or 30 degrees when we set off this morning to take the kids to the safari park, and we left the house at 10 AM and it only got warmer. I am melting. Melting is the word of the day. I keep using it repeatedly because that is the only word I have to describe how I'm feeling. Anyway, moving on to my last whip to share with you today. This is my Koi Dragon. The designer is Nadezdha Gavrilinkova. I have again been working on this for quite some time. This was either a 2021 or a 2022 start. This is what it looked like last time you saw it. I have moved the frame since then. I say move the frame, I have expanded the frame. So I did have it on this Q-snap with the long sides, but I had narrower like top and bottom bars on, and I have just put the extenders onto those to give me an extra 3 inches, I believe. And that has just allowed me to get more of the design into the frame. And isn't this looking fabulous? If I do say so myself, I absolutely love this one. so much. Like the colours are just so beautiful, especially on this black. I am stitching this on 14 count black Ada. It is not my favourite piece of fabric because it is just a fluff magnet. It attracts everything and I'm constantly picking bits off it. Also, I did notice when I like readjusted my Q-snap and took it out to move it, that where it's sort of been in the Q-snap, some of the black fabric has actually gone a little bit shiny. I'm not sure why that's happened. It's not like damaged, but it's just gone shiny where it's been inside the plastic. Hopefully it's not going to be too noticeable when it's finished, or maybe if I wash it or like get it wet, maybe those like shiny marks will go away, but if not, I guess it is what it is. I'm not sure why that's happened. This is quite a cheap random piece of 14 count from my stash, and it's one that I got very early on back in my like when I was getting back to stitching. And yes, it was basically like the cheapest black Ada that I came across at the time. So yeah, not the best quality. Maybe that has something to do with it. Anyway, I'll give you a bit of a close-up at the bottom here. This is what I've mainly been working on. Down here, I've not done anything up top, but I have really been working on this. So yeah, all of this section. I don't think I'd started this like tendril or whatever you want to call it last time you saw. And this was the sort of, like this is the boundary of the stitching. This is as far this way as the stitching comes. And I was sort of working my way this way, but I'd missed a chunk of the stitching out here. So yes, I started from the top here, did this, and then I've just continued it all the way along the bottom here. And I'm just trying to now sort of fill in anything in this vicinity that needs stitching. I'm now trying to work my way over basically and fill in gaps. But I absolutely love this. I know you've seen them before and I haven't worked on them, but the koi at the top are just beautiful and I cannot wait to get the detail in those with the back stitch. So there it is, my dragon koi or koi dragon. Beautiful design. All the threads in this are, I believe, CXC. That is what I'm working with. 14 count Ada. Beautiful. Pretty sure it's 14 count, although now I'm doubting myself. I'll have a really quick check because that's just going to annoy me. I thought it was 14 count, but then looking at it, it just looks a bit small. No, I am right. It is 14 count. Oh, and since I've got my notes open, I started it on the 16th of September 2021. As I said, this one has been going for a while, but I have almost hit a significant milestone on this. I am tracking it on my Pattern Keeper app and I am not quite at 50%, but I am edging closer to 50%. I think as it stands, this is 47%. So we are heading very close to 50% territory, and then I will be on the countdown, which is like a milestone that I always love. I love getting to the 50% so that you can start counting down. That is one of the most satisfying things for me, hitting the midway point of a project. And then you feel like it's really, really close to a finish, or I do, even though it will take many, many more hours, being that it's so huge, but there's just something about hitting 50% psychologically for me makes me feel really happy, really good. And we're almost there with this one. That is all my projects to share with you. My hair is just sticking to me. I'm sticky. Oh, it's horrible. I am going to show you this one piece of haul very quickly. This is a piece of haul that I had ordered this quite some time ago off Amazon when Charlie from Charlie Feathers showed this on her own Flosstube, and I loved it. I literally finished watching her Flosstube and then went to buy it because I just thought it was gorgeous. Here it is. So this is an amazing RTO kit, and it is called the Wish Tree. Absolutely beautiful. It comes with Ada that is printed with like this purple background. And it is this lovely girl in this beautiful dress with a little fox and a tree that is made of feathers. I absolutely love this. It is so beautiful. My original intention was to grab this kit as fast as possible because at the time Charlie had only just started stitching this along with another one of her stitchy friends, and I was going to join them in stitching it as a sal, and then my delivery got lost in the post. It never arrived, and then I had to wait for quite some time for the seller to be able to investigate and all those kinds of things, and it did end up getting resolved. They actually refunded me in full for the missing kit, but I did then have to go ahead and order this kit all over again, and it was not coming from the UK, it was coming from overseas, so it has taken quite a while to get to me. I'm not sure where Charlie is with hers at the moment. I'll have to have a little browse over on her Instagram and have a little watch of her latest Flosstube, because I'm probably not up to date with that. I've been very busy with the summer holidays for the kids, not had much time to watch much Flosstube. I'll have to see where she is, and then I will make a judgment on whether I start this soon and try and catch up with them for a bit of a sal, or whether I just stick it in the box and start it some other time, because I've been too slow at starting. But there it is, Wish Tree, beautiful design. That is everything I've got to share with you. I really hope you've enjoyed this, and before I leave you, there is just a big thank you I want to say. I want to say thank you to everybody that has recently shopped in my shop. As I mentioned, it is the summer holidays for my children, and my dispatches are therefore a little bit slower than usual. My typical daily routine after dropping the kids off to school on a normal day is to go home and go straight into my studio before I even go into the house, and I'll package up orders that need to be packaged. And I'll do that at least every other day, sometimes each morning if orders are coming in more frequently. But there is definitely a bit of a go slow going on at the moment. Not insanely slow, but it is sometimes taking me 3 or 4 days to get into my studio in between looking after the children. So I just wanted to say an extra thank you to everyone that has ordered recently and has been patient with my dispatches. I do have a polite little notice at the top of the website that says this is my aim for dispatch, but at some times of year I am a bit slower, so there kind of is a warning, but I still feel really bad when I am slower at sending things out than usual. So a big thank you to anyone that has been patient with me. I do appreciate it, and I hope that you are all enjoying your bits and bobs. Speaking of my shop, I don't often do big shop updates here on my Flosstube. I try and keep it to my stitching, but if you have 2 minutes to listen, I am quite excited just for some of the new bits that I have actually put live on the shop today. So the first new bits are, I think, 39 new needle minder designs. I will pop a little picture on the screen for you so that you can see them, but there are, yes, almost 40 new needle minders on the site. Many of them are spooky Halloween themed, which I know a lot of us stitchers love stitching Halloween projects. So yes, there is definitely a minder here that will suit your Halloween projects, and I've got plenty of other fun ones thrown in there as well. Some really nice stitchy quote ones. So I hope that if you are in need of a new needle minder, you might go and take a look, and they are all in my 4 for 10 deal, all of these ones. And I'm also really excited to just sort of give you a bit of a heads up that these are not on the shop yet, but there will be some special bundles coming soon with different themes, and I'm super excited. I've been having so much fun putting them together. There is going to be, oh no, I'm not going to tell you the themes because that's going to spoil it, but yes, there are going to be some nice themed bundles full of loads of goodies that I'm super excited about, and when they are up, I will let you know. That is everything, guys, and I will see you really soon. I'm sure that the next 2 weeks will fly by because it always does when you are busy, and I'm definitely super busy at the moment. Take care, everyone. Stay hydrated, drink lots of water, put your sun cream on, and enjoy the sunshine. We have plans tomorrow to go out paddle boarding, fingers crossed, and I'm just, planning to go out nice and early. I think we should go out super early in the morning before the heat just gets too much, because I do not want to be stranded like a mile or 2 down the river having to paddle back and getting heat stroke. So yes, we're just going to have to be careful with that. Take care, everyone. Happy stitching. See you soon. Bye.